to Necromia's kitchen. Today, I have something to show you. Look, this is pizza with pizza chips. And like a shitload of cheese. Yes, you won't believe it. Look at that crust. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Come on, Necromia, we're on with our new segment.
I'll be right there.
You alright?
Yes, I just been eating way too much pizza.
I know the feeling. So, would you present something for us today?
Today, we have an all-new segment called Men of Action.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, yeah, one of my favorite action stars, the muscles from Brussels. And which is the first of his movies you want to present today, Necromia?
Let me present to you a personal favorite, Lutzborn. Hey.
This movie is so awesome. And this German Blu-ray release, which also includes the English soundtrack, is actually quite rare and the quality is outstanding. So let's take a look.
Bloodsport is the ultimate Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and it's one of my personal favorites of his. It's a 1988 American martial arts action film, directed by Newt Arnold, and starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Leah Iris, Forrest Whitaker, Donald Kipp, Roy Chow, and Bolo Young.
U.S. Army Captain Frank Dukes has trained in the ways of ninjutsu under his sensei Senso Tanaka. As a boy, Dukes and a group of his friends broke into Tanaka's home to steal a katana sword. But Dukes was apprehended while returning the katana to its place. Impressed by Dukes' integrity and toughness, Senso decided to train him alongside his son, Shingo. After Shingo's death, Senso trains Dukes as a member of the Tanaka clan. Dukes is invited to the Kumite, an illegal martial arts tournament in Hong Kong. After his army superiors refuse to let him go, Dukes goes absent without leave, says goodbye to his sensei and leaves for Hong Kong. Two criminal investigation command agents, Helmer and Rollins, are assigned to track down and arrest Dukes. After arriving in Hong Kong, Dukes befriends American fighter Ray Jackson and their guide Victor Lin. When they arrive at the Kumite area, the officials are skeptical, but eventually accepts them after Dukes proves his connection to the Tanaka clan by performing the Dim Mak Death Touch on the first day of the tournament. Dukes gets negative attention of the ruthless Kumite champion Chong Li after breaking his record for the fastest knockout. Dukes becomes involved with American journalist Janice Kent, who investigating the Kumite. Although Dukes refuses to help her, she sneaks into the arena by agreeing to date with another spectator. On the second day, Jackson is matched against Chong Li. Although Jackson comes close to defeating Li, he wastes his time gloating, allowing Li to recover and brutally beat him. Li also provokes and taunts Dukes to intimidate him even further. Dukes visits Jackson in the hospital and vows to avenge him. After witnessing the brutality of the tournament, Janice argues with Dukes and tries to convince him not to return. Dukes tell her that he has to win in order to become the best he can be. Bloodsport is one of my favorite movies. It features some of the greatest fighting scenes ever caught on film. And the training scenes are simply spectacular. It's great, it's fantastic, it's Van Damme.
Soren also owned the school version of Bloodsport. old Danish VHS version. I guess he couldn't get rid of it because it's so awesome. Let's get on with our next great Van Damme movie, which is Kickboxer.
Kickboxer is a 1989 American martial arts film directed by David Worth and starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and former world kickboxing champion Dennis Alexio starring as his brother. Kurt Sloan is the younger brother and cornerman of Eric Sloan, the United States kickboxing world champion. After another successful title defense, Eric is enticed by the media to compete in Thailand, where kickboxing was started, to further establish his legacy. As a result, Eric and Kurt travels to Bangkok to fight Tong Po, Thailand's undefeated top fighter. Eric is supremely confident, but Kurt becomes apprehensive after witnessing Tong Po kicking a concrete pillar in preparation for the fight. He begs Eric not to fight, but Eric dismisses any concerns. Tong Po dominates Eric in the first round with his superior strength and knowledge of Thailand's unorthodox kickboxing rules. In between rounds, Kurt once again begs Eric to stop, but Eric refuses to give up and gets beaten badly in the second round. Kurt throws in the towel, but Tong Po kicks the towel out of the ring and continues his assault. He viciously strikes Eric in the back with his elbow, immobilizing him, and then rips apart Eric's world championship belt. Kurt retrieves the belt and leaves with his brother on a stretcher, but the fight officials leave them on the street. Winston Taylor, a retired United States Army Special Forces member, agrees to help the pair by driving them to the hospital. As a result of Tong Po's brutal attack, Eric is paralyzed from the waist down and will never be able to walk again. An enraged Kurt vows to avenge his brother. He searches for a trainer to teach him Muay Thai. Taylor tells him about Chian Chow, a famous Muay Thai trainer living in a remote area of Thailand. Although reluctant at first, Xian agrees to train Kurt.
Like Bloodsport, Kickboxer has a lot of great training sequences that are simply amazing, and it really showcases Van Damme's abilities. And of course, there's again a lot of great fight scenes and even a funny scene of a drunk Van Damme dancing and kicking ass. It's Jean-Claude fantastic. And now for something completely different. In a futuristic world, Cyborg. Cyborg is a 1989 American martial arts cyberpunk film directed by Albert Brion. It stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Gibson and Vincent Clem as Fender.
A plague known as the Living Death cripples civilization. A small group of surviving scientists and doctors located in Atlanta, home of the CDC, works on a cure to save what remains of the humanity. To complete their work, they need information stored on a computer system in New York. Pearl Prophet volunteers for the dangerous courier mission and is made into a cyborg through surgical augmentation. Pearl, accompanied by bodyguard Marshall Stratt, retrieves the data in New York but is pursued by the vicious Fender and his gang of pirates. Fender wants the cure so he can have a monopoly on its production. Stratt, who is badly injured while fighting the pirates, tells Pearl to leave him and find a mercenary also known as a slinger who can escort her to safety. She gets cornered but is saved by a slinger named Gibson, and she explains her situation. They are overrun by Fender's gang and Gibson is knocked out by falling debris. Fender demands that she accompany him to Atlanta or die. Fender's gang slaughters a family and steals their boat. They head south for Atlanta via the intracoastal waterway with their captive Pearl. Gibson, who has been tracking the pirates, arrives at the scene of slaughter later that night. A shadowy figure attacks him, but he disables her. She turns out to be Natty, a young woman who mistook him as a pirate. Natty, whose family was wiped out by the plague, joins Gibson. Gibson reveals that he cares only about revenge against Fender, who killed his lover and her son and took his stepdaughter after vicious torture and destroyed his chance to have a normal life and family. This is a very different Van Damme movie. It's set in a post-apocalyptic future. And the cinematography and sets are awesome, and the stakes are high.
Cyborg features a lot of great Van Damme fight scenes, and some of them are quite brutal, which is excellent, and I quite enjoy watching him taking the bad guys out.
Yeah, and trust me, you're in for a treat in the final showdown between Fender and Gibson battling it out.
Yes, he has done it again. Another really awesome Van Damme movie with everything we come to know and I love from his great movies.
And what do you know? I also kept the Danish version called Helten, which translates to hero, which is, I guess, what a slinger is. So, yeah, I couldn't get rid of it because it's just too awesome.
Our next movie is known under a lot of different names. Here it's called Lionheart, released internationally under several names, including Averill, Absent Without Leave, Wrong Bet, and in this director's cut version, it's simply called Leon. It is a 1990 American action film directed by Sheldon Lettish, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and co-starring Brian Johnson, along with Harrison Page, Deborah Rennert, Lisa Bellicum, and Ashley Johnson.
Leon Gauthier is in the French Foreign Legion, stationed in Djibouti, East Africa. After his brother, who lives in Los Angeles, is set on fire during a drug deal gone bad, Leon receives a letter from his sister-in-law, Elaine, begging him to come see his dying brother, who has been calling his name in agony. Leon escapes the Legion in a daring breakout and sets off across the desert until he reaches a dockyard on the coast, where he finds work aboard a tramp steamer heading for United States. Leon's Legion commander, anticipating his destination, sent 2 of his own men to Los Angeles to bring Leon back to meet court-martial. Arriving in New York City with no money to cross the country to Los Angeles, Leon is attracted to an illegal street fight being run by a man named Joshua Eldridge. He volunteers for the next fight and easily defeats his opponent. Impressed, Joshua takes Leon to meet Cynthia Caldera, an unscrupulous organizer of underground fights for the rich elite. Cynthia agrees to sponsor Leon, dubbing him Lionheart. By the time Leon reaches the hospital, his brother has sadly died. Elaine was left penniless with a stack of unpaid medical bills and a little daughter Nicole to look after. Leon and Joshua track down Elaine's address. But when Leon tries to speak to Elaine, she angrily rejects his offers for much needed financial help, admonizing Leon for deserting his brother and unjustly blaming him for her late husband's involvement in the drug business. Leon decides to help Elaine and Nicole without their knowledge. Through Cynthia, he joins the local street fighting circuit and has the profits delivered to Elaine in form of checks, with Joshua claiming that her husband described to her life insurance prior to his death. Leon defeats a number of high-profile fighters, including a dirty fighting Scotsman, a wrestler in a squat courtyard, and a martial artist in a shallow swimming pool. Seeing as Leon is keeping his winnings and spurns her adventures.
Lionheart is truly a film of friendship and having a big heart. is really Van Damme gold. Like always, there's plenty of cool Van Damme fights.
And the story always asks you, who can you trust? It's a great story of friendship, love, honor, and excitement. Van Damme has done it again in this amazing film. And remember, you can't fake those moves. So, enjoy.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I actually also have a Danish version of this one. Look at this, Necromia. And the thing is, this is called Lion the Street Fighter. So, yeah. This movie have like a lot of names.
Next up, Van Damme goes undercover in prison in Death Warrant.
Death Warrant is a 1990 American prison action thriller film directed by Deran Sarafian and produced by Mark DeSale. The film was written by David S. Goyer and stars, of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Patrick Kilpatrick, who is also great in Class of 1999, but I'll save that for another video. Also starring Cynthia Gibb. Detective Louis Burke of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police from Quebec confronts the maniac that killed his partner on the force, an enigmatic psychopathic serial killer by the name of Christian Naylor, who calls himself the Sandman. Burke searches an abandoned house in Los Angeles where he comes across a series of bodies hanging from the ceiling and is then attacked by the Sandman. Burke is able to shoot the Sandman several times in the center of his chest, apparently killing him.
16 months later, Burke joins a task force assembled by the governor to investigate a series of murders in Harrison State Prison in California, which is becoming a scandal, threatening his re-election, while Burke poses as an inmate. Attorney Amanda Beckett acts as his wife.
Burke goes undercover and is interned in the state penitentiary, where he befriends his cellmate Konefki, played by Conrad Dunn, and a clerk named Hawkins, played by Robert Guillaume. Despite Burke saving Hawkins from a confrontation with a Mexican gang, neither he nor Konefki will talk about the recent murders. Burke is able to track down the cellmate of the most recent victim, named Barrett, who works at the infirmary. But the cellmate also refuses to talk. When Burke threatens him, he reveals that he doesn't know what's going on, but the guards are involved and there is an outside man. He sends Burke to talk to a priest, played by Abdul Salim El Razak, who gets him a key to the records room.
Someone doesn't want Burke to know the truth about what's going on. Someone powerful, and to Burke's surprise, the Sandman is alive and well and is transferred to the prison, which is the perfect place to get revenge, since no inmate likes a cop.
Will Burke find out the truth? And will he live to tell about it? Well, you gotta watch Death Warrant, another great Jean-Claude Van Damme classic.
Up next is Double Impact. Yeah. Double Impact is a 1991 American action film written and directed by Sheldon Lettish and written, produced and starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as Chad and Alex Wagner. The film marks Van Damme's third collaboration with director Sheldon Lettish, who wrote Bloodsport and directed Lionheart, and second collaboration with Bolo Young, the first being Bloodsport in 1988.
In Hong Kong, during the year 1966, business partners Paul Wagner and Nigel Griffith opened the Victoria Harbour Tunnel. Paul attends with his wife Catherine and their two identical twins, infant sons, Chad and Alex. After the celebration, the family is followed home by their bodyguard, Frank Avery, whom they dismiss. Once he leaves, a triad hit squad follows them. A shootout ensues, in which Paul is killed. Catherine begs the triad to spare the twins, but is shot and killed by Moon, the top henchman. Their mate is able to escape with Alex, and Frank eventually saves Chad. The mate leaves Alex at a Hong Kong orphanage, and Frank raises Chad in France. 25 years later, in 1991, Chad and Frank are running a successful martial arts dojo in Los Angeles, when Frank tells surprised Chad about a new business in Hong Kong. The two go on a mahjong parlor, and a woman mistaking Chad for Alex takes him back to Alex's room. When Alex arrives, he knocks out Chad for being with his girlfriend Danielle Wilde. Frank tells them that they are identical twin brothers and they need to join together to take down Griffith and get part of their royalties from the tunnel. Later, Alex takes Chad and Frank to an abandoned hotel on an island to conduct their operations. With intelligence from Danielle, they attack a drug operation and blow it up. Next, they attack a club frequented by Sang by pretending to bring him cognac smuggled from France, which is actually just crates of bombs. Although they fail to kill Sang, Danielle continues to search for information.
So, will they take the ruthless gang down and avenge their parents? You gotta see the film for yourselves. It's double impact with double Van Damme. Double up on action. Double the fun. Double the Van damage.
Up next is Universal Soldier. Universal Soldier is a 1992 American military science fiction action film. And surprise, it stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, an awesome Dolph Lundgren, who really is fantastic as a villain. But I'll get back to that.
The film is directed by Roland Emmerich, who made such great films as Independence Day, Godzilla, and Stargate, and many more. It's produced by Alan Shapiro, Greg Baumgarten, and Joel B. Michaels, and written by Richard Rothstein, Christopher Leach, and Roland Emmerich's great collaborator, Dean Devlin.
In 1969, a US Army team is ordered to secure a village against North Vietnamese forces. Luke Devereaux discovers members of his squad and villagers murdered, all with their ears removed. Devereaux finds his sergeant Andrew Scott, who has gone totally insane and made a necklace of severed ears, and who is holding a young couple hostage. Devereaux, nearing the end of the tour of duty, tries to reason with Scott, who then executes the man and orders Devereaux to shoot the girl to prove his loyalty. Devereaux refuses and tries to save the girl, but she is killed by a grenade thrown by Scott. After shooting each other to death, Devereaux and Scott's corpses are recovered by a second squad and cryogenically frozen, their death classified as missing in action. Fast forward to the 90s, Devereaux and Scott's corpses are reanimated decades later, but with their memories lost, and selected for the Universal Soldier Unisol program, an elite counter-terrorism unit. They are deployed via an Aerospaceline Mini Guppy to the Hoover Dam to resolve a hostage situation. The team demonstrates their superior training and physical abilities against the terrorists, such as when GR-76, played by Ralph Müller, withstands close-off range rifle fire. After the area is secured, Devereaux begins to regain memory from his former life upon seeing two hostages who strongly resemble the villagers he's tried to save in Vietnam, causing him to disobey commands from the control team and become unresponsive. In the mobile command center, the Unisols are revealed to be genetically augmented soldiers with enhanced self-healing abilities and superior strength. But they also tend to overheat and shut down. They are given a neural serum to keep their minds susceptible and their past memories suppressed. TV journalist Veronica Roberts, fired while covering the Hoover Dam incident, tries to get a story on the Unisol project to get her job back, Robots sneak into the base with a cameraman, discovering GR-76 immersed in ice, still alive despite he's been shot several times. When her presence is noticed, Devereaux and Scott are ordered to capture her dead or alive. She flees to her cameraman's car, but they crash. Scott coldly murders the cameraman against orders before Devereaux stops him from shooting Roberts. Together, Devereaux and Roberts escape in a Unisol vehicle. Colonel Perry insists on preventing knowledge of the Unisol program getting out and sends a remaining Unisols to find Devereaux and Roberts.
From here on, the rules are back in place. Scott's get all his homicidal and evil tendencies back and sees Devereaux as a traitor.
The film shifts to a chase movie where Roberts and Devereaux tries to survive, and Devereaux tries to remember the past. And there's also a funny scene where Devereaux is a lot at a diner, but doesn't understand that he has to pay, and it starts a rumble, with everyone trying to fight Devereaux, who won't stop eating.
And for the women, there's a funny scene with Devereaux, who needs to be cooled down.
And my favorite Scandinavian neighbor, Swedish Dolph Lundgren, is really perfect as Sergeant Andrew Scott. Still thinks he's in the Vietnam War, even though it's the 90s. It's really, dare I say it, an enjoyment to see him kick ass and be in total maniac control. He really steals the scenes in the movie because he is menacing and funny at the same time.
And trust me, the final showdown between the two action legends really gives you the fight you've been waiting for. So grab an extra large bowl of popcorn and enjoy Universal Soldier. Up next is... Timecop is a 1994 American science fiction action film directed by Peter Hames and co-written by Mark Richardson and Mark Verheiden. Richardson also served as an exclusive producer. The film is based on Timecop, a story created by Richardson, written by Verheiden and drawn by Ron Randall, which appeared in the anthology comic Dark Horse Comics, published by Dark Horse Comics. The film stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, Ron Silver, and Mia Sara.
When the ability to travel through time is perfected, a new time of law enforcement agency is formed. It's called Time Enforcement Commission, or TEC. A cop, Max Walker, is assigned to the group. On the day he has been chosen, some of the men attack him and kill his wife. 10 years later, Max is still grieving, but has become a good agent for the TEC. He tracks down a former co-worker named Lyle Atwood, who went into 1929 to profit from the stock market crash. Atwood admits to working for Senator McComb, who is abusing his oversight of time travel technology to raise funds for his upcoming presidential campaign to make money. Max brings him back for sentencing, and Max now has his eye on McComb.
Keep trying to get good at that. I never quit.
Walker is assigned a new partner, TEC rookie Sarah Fielding. They are sent back to 1994 to investigate McComb and witness a disagreement with his business partner Jack Parker over manufacturing a new computer chip. They are interrupted by McComb from 2004, who advises his younger self that the chip will become highly profitable. The older McComb warns his younger self that they must not touch because the same matter cannot occupy the same space. Then kills Parker. Fielding turns on Walker, revealing she works for McComb. After a shootout with McComb's henchmen, Fielding is wounded and Walker escapes back to 2004. They killed Max's wife 10 years ago. Can he still save her? That and many more interesting questions are being answered in this awesome time travel action movie, which is not only one of my favorite Van Damme movies, it's one of my favorite time travel movies. I love it, and you will too. So if you haven't seen Timecop yet, get to it before time runs out. Up next is
Sudden Death. The
Sudden Death is a 1995 American sports action thriller film directed by Peter Hames and starring, surprise, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Powers Booth, who I also enjoyed in Red Dawn and The Emerald Forest, also starring Dorian Harewood. Darren McCord is a French-Canadian-born firefighter for the Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire, now serving as a fire marshal for the Pittsburgh Civic area, after tragically being unable to save a young girl from a house fire 2 years prior. Darren takes his son Tyler and daughter Emily to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals as a birthday gift for Tyler. During the 1995 Stanley Cup Finals between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Chicago Blackhawks, a group of terrorists take the vice presidents of the United States and several other VIPs hostage in a luxury suite. Former CIA operative Joshua Foss has the area wired with explosives and plans to blow it up at the end of the game while having hundreds of millions of dollars wired into several offshore accounts. Van Damme plays a great role as a divorced dad trying his best while trying to defuse an explosive situation. The film carries some of his signature kicks and awesome fights, but still tries to portray him as a normal, hard-working guy. And the film keeps the suspense perfectly. Powers Booth, may he rest in peace by the way, is just perfectly as the villain. He really enjoys being cruel and is quite humorous about it. And that's just very entertaining.
Sudden Death is a cool 90s old school action with plenty of suspense. Our last video today is Hard Target.
Hard Target is a 1993 American action film directed by Hong Kong director John Woo in his US debut. The film stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Chance Devereaux, an out-of-work Cajun merchant, seaman and former Force Recon Marine who saves a young woman named Natasha Binder, played by Yancy Butler. He saves her from a gang of thugs in New Orleans. Chance learns that Binder is searching for her missing father, played by Chuck Farrer, and agrees to aid Binder in her search. They soon learn that Binder's father has died in the hands of hunt organizers Emile Foucault, played by Lance Henriksen, and Pig Van Cleef, played by Arnold Vosloo, who I always remember from The Mummy. Here he plays a ruthless businessman who arranged the hunting of homeless men as a form of recreational sport. The screenplay was written by Chuck Farrer and is based on the 1932 film adaptation of Richard Connell's 1924 short story, The Most Dangerous Game. Chance leads Natasha to his uncle Dewey, played by Wilford Brimley, who is also very awesome in the Cocoon movies. His house lies deep in the bayou, and enlists his help to defeat the men. Chance, Natasha, and Dewey lead the hunting party to the Mardi Gras graveyard, a warehouse of old damaged Mardi Gras floats and statues, and kills off Foucault's men. Hard Target is really great, and director John Woo does a fine combination between awesome over-the-top Hong Kong action fusioned with American over-the-top action, and it works on all counts. By the way, I have to give a salute to my favorite Danish Hollywood stuntman, Sven Ole Thorsen, who has a great villainous role in the film, and he is really awesome. And it's really a pleasure to see Lance Henriksen be villainous and be menacing. Also, Arnold the Mummy Vosloo really enjoys playing a villain, and it shows. The two of them are like the perfect killer team.
So sit down and enjoy this action, adrenaline-filled balls to the wall action film with awesome Mr. Van Damme.
That was it for an awesome Mr. Van Damme video. And if you're watching Mr. Van Damme, thanks for giving me an awesome childhood. I really enjoyed your movies, and I still do, and I watch them over and over again because, well, let's just say it like this: nobody can fake those moves, and you're awesome.
Yes, you definitely are, sir.
So, did you enjoy them as well?
Yes, I like this Man of Action segment.
That's good. So, till next time, take care and
have a good one.
Yes, and we'll see you sooner than you know.